There is no denying that we live in an ever-changing world. Currently, it has been described as the most transformational times in human history. The world of yesterday looks so very different from the world of today, and the world of tomorrow will not be the same as where we are now.
Imagine the awesomest thing you can, like an automatic grilled cheese maker, or a time machine with an automatic grilled cheese maker. Now imagine who's going to invent it. Him? Glasses here? Whoever they are? Or maybe her? But how do kids like these become the types of people that do things like this? Maybe we should ask this guy.
Knowledge is heavy. Sometimes it's a limit to have new ideas. That's the problem with the old schooling, because they were teaching answers. I believe questions are probably more important today than the answers.
Erno's cube is a question waiting to be answered. And when the right person finds the right question, something amazing happens. They start seeing the world as it truly is. Not a place to be memorized, but a place to be figured out, flipped, turned, twisted, and ultimately made better, forever. Today, she may be an octopus, but help kids like her fall in love with problem solving, and they will embark on journeys to become scientists, artists, engineers, designers, inventors, or something no one's ever been before, but you can bet we're gonna need. That's why moments like this, go, and this, and this, and especially this, are so important. Because there are companies to found, planets to walk on, time machines to invent, a future to be made amazing. We may not know what it's going to look like, but we know who's going to do it.
As Tom Goodwin puts it, something interesting is happening. Uber is the world's largest taxi company, and yet they own none of their own taxis. Airbnb is the world's largest accommodation provider, and they don't own any of their own hotels. And Facebook is the world's largest social media owner, and they don't produce any of their own content. Things are changing. And so what is our response? How do we make sure that the students who leave us are ready to step into this ever-changing world? How do we make sure that they thrive in a world where things are constantly evolving? Globally, it has been decided that what our children need in order to excel and thrive in a post-school environment is certainly not more content. They don't need to know more. If they want to know anything, how fast a cheetah runs, they simply will just put it into Google. What they need is skills. And there have been 4 skills that have been identified as the core skills that our students need in order to survive an ever-changing world. Those skills are creativity, collaboration, communication, and critical thinking, defined as the 21st century skills. And so, what does this mean in an educational context? Collaboration is the capacity to work together, the sharing of thoughts, ideas, and contents, and in various platforms, not just face-to-face, but on devices, on various platforms. Creativity is the ability to look at things differently. It does involve the performing arts, music, dance, the creative elements, but more about how can we think of things in an innovative and inventive manner. Critical thinking is problem solving, application of content into new and unseen contexts. It's bringing different disciplines together to solve a problem. And communication is the sharing of thoughts, ideas, and solutions. And so for us, we are ensuring that we are highlighting these 4 key skills in all of our lessons, in everything that we do. We're trying to make this part of the fabric of who we are, to ensure that we are giving our students capacity to take on creativity and critical thinking, collaboration and communication. But we have also highlighted 2 of our own that we also think are important. And that is curiosity and courage. Curiosity is the questioning, it's the why. Why does things work like this? Why does this come together in this way? And actually it is the beginning of critical thinking, and it leads to starting to investigate and analyze and think about different situations. And courage, well, we all need a little bit of courage to step out into the unknown, to face new situations, to take on challenges. And if we didn't have courage last year, I don't think we actually would have survived. Taking on new platforms, new education systems, we have to give our kids a chance to be courageous. So aside from doing this in our classrooms, I'm hoping you're thinking, how else do we make sure that we are giving our kids an opportunity to develop these really important lifelong skills? And some of the critical elements, like I've already mentioned, are in the way that the lessons are run, the way that the questions are answered, the way that the questions are posed, all a part of the very teaching methodology. But more than that, we've given thought to our timetable, to our structures, to the way things work here to make sure that we are pushing towards these skills as well. And the way that we have done that is firstly in semesterization. A few years back, we recognized that our grade 8s come in and there are just so many subjects for them to take on, and they really struggle with having to look at all these different subjects. And so we decided to semesterize in grade 8 so that the sciences become one subject across 2 semesters, the social sciences become one subject across 2 semesters, economic and management science becomes one subject across 2 semesters. And in so doing, we also create space for our kids to engage with these subjects more. So rather than having 2 subjects twice or 3 times a week, they have one subject more often, and that provides an opportunity for them to do more practical-based things, to look into skills approach, and to set projects so that it's kind of more intensive over a shorter space of time, and it actually allows us to engage this skills-based approach. Further to that, we actually introduced a variety of subjects into our subject choice offering in grade 8 and 9 and in grade 10 in the FET phase as well. In grade 8 and 9, aside from the traditional subjects that our students do of natural science, social science, EMS, maths, FAL, English, we also offer 2 electives, and they have to choose from 5 subjects like sports science, dance, music, visual arts, so that they have and French, so that they have an opportunity to engage in extra subjects which allow them more scope and more exposure to different elements of the curriculum. And these electives have become immensely popular. Originally, we only asked them to choose 1 elective, but now students actually choose 2 electives. And both of these electives are quite practical based, so that they are engaging again with more skills as opposed to content. For example, in sports science, they look at things like how to make an effective diet plan that supports your requirements in the sport that you love and the sport that you have chosen. So rather than just playing that sport, actually supporting how to do that sport better. We also have a subject called public speaking, which is in the grade 8 and 9 curriculum that every single one of our students engage with. And public speaking is exactly that, learning to communicate in all the different platforms, learning to engage with different techniques to do public speaking better and not to be afraid of it as they step out into the world. We've also introduced technology, and technology takes place in different forms. So part of the technology is allocated to coding and robotics, and our students have done and engaged with the Lego Mind Form robots, where they actually build Lego robots and then code the Lego robots to go from the most basic to the most complex kind of routes, and learning all the coding that goes behind that. And then also, aside from coding and robotics, technology is divided into engineering, graphics and design, where they learn how to design homes, how to best place homes, how to do the interior of homes, and then also design thinking. And in design thinking, this is where we do lots of inquiry-based things about why things work the way that they do. We build boats, we look at how we can make these boats build better, we build miniatures, we build catapults, we look at having zip lines that carry ping pong balls, and it's all about the design process that goes into making these elements work. And all of these subjects give our kids exposure to the skills that they need to develop communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. Aside from the actual curriculum subjects, we also have an incredible support program here at Reddam House Umhlanga that I really do believe is the core of why we do well. And as soon as I say support, people often think I'm talking about students who struggle, but what I love about our support program is that it is for everyone. Every single student in our school has the opportunity to engage above and beyond with their teachers outside of the normal timetable. And here the culture is very much that everybody gets involved. Last year's Ducks used to come to every single one of my support lessons on a Wednesday afternoon. And she was the Ducks, but she was looking for an opportunity to engage in different questions and a variety of questions and a variety of approaches. And that is, for me, part of why our support works, is that our students feel comfortable to come to their teachers after school to engage with maybe extension, but also with, I didn't quite catch that in class. Can you go over that with me again? Can you just review for me where I went wrong with this? And so we have a set time that we've carved out after the school day before the extracurricular timetable starts. There's a 45-minute slot where students can go to their teachers and engage with them around support or extension, and these are really well attended. And aside from those support where they can engage with their teachers, there are actual classes that run that are just a reiteration of what we are currently doing, where we are at, and this is in English, Afrikaans, and Maths. And then further to that, we also have support that runs from 3:15 to 4:15 in focused areas of English, Afrikaans, and Maths, so that these students can engage even further. As a member of the Inspire group, we have the opportunity to actually engage with other educational systems around the world to see what is best practiced, what is working well in other schools, but also we have the right to choose the assessment body that we want to work alongside. And so for us, in South Africa, in our context, that has to be the IEB. In her editorial release with the results, IEB CEO Anne Oberholzer stated, "Our responsibility as teachers is to provide children not just with knowledge and academic skills, but more importantly to draw on the innate curiosity to develop the softer skills of courage and perseverance, to develop in them the confidence and strategies to tackle the unknown, to provide opportunity and challenges for them to venture purposefully beyond their daily existence, and to engage with the bigger world and unfamiliar situations." I feel like that's something that we as Reddam House could have written. That's how closely our vision aligns to what they are hoping to achieve as an assessment body. And if you only take a snapshot from their website and have a look at the elements that they highlight, you will see things like critical users of information, ethical reasoners, problem solvers, creative and reflective thinkers, lifelong learners. And so everything that they are doing from an assessment point of view is hoping to achieve these elements in their assessments. And again, it aligns so closely with what we are hoping to achieve from our students. So for us, this is the system that we really feel for now works and that we support as an assessment body. So what are the questions with regards to IEB? The first question I generally get asked is the IEB exam harder? And the IEB and the DOE exams are not the same. They are not the same examinations, but the way that the IEB asks the questions is different to how the DOE asks the question. And this is because the IEB is more focused at developing thinking, at developing problem solving, logic, and so their questions are posed in that manner. But our students are more than prepared for this exam because, as I've already stated, that's part of what our ethos is right from when they join us in grade 8, that we are developing these skills in them so that they are able to tackle and confidently walk into that exam at the end of their grade 12 year. And these higher order application style, creative thinking techniques is actually part of the reason why our students do so well in tertiary education, because those are the skills that are needed in order to thrive in that environment. The next question I get asked is, do IEB students get special consideration when they apply at university? And the answer to this is no. There is no difference in the point system between IEB and DOE students. They get exactly the same points. So if you get an 80 in a DOE system and you get an 80 in an IEB system, you both get given a 7 towards whatever university course you're hoping to study. But what's important to remember is that our students actually generally do better in the NBTs, which is the national benchmark tests that all students have to write in order to go into various university courses. And this is often because those NBTs look at a kind of application and a problem-solving approach, which our students, again, are trained in. So although they don't get any special application, there's nothing on the application that grants them any special consideration, the system that we have in place to get them to that point trains them to do well. And so the next question, again leading on, is how do IEB students fare at university? And there was a study that was conducted in UCT, one of the kind of main and thriving universities, in 2007, which looked at how IEB students do in university. And it was very interesting to look at the graphs and the analysis, because what was marked difference between a DBE and an IEB candidate was the throughput from year 1 to year 4. And it was evident to see that those students who had come through the IEB system had a marked increase in their capacity to finish the course, and that there was a marked difference between the number of students who were completing their studies from an IEB context as opposed to those who were from the DBE. The last question is the IEB an internationally recognized degree or certification? And the answer to that is yes. There is a massive list of universities overseas that will accept the IEB candidates straight out of IEB. So some people think that there's a bridging course, or that there's something that has to happen between finishing matric here in South Africa and being able to study overseas, and that is not true. The list of universities that will accept candidates without any bridging or changing is really long. And if you want information around those universities, you can get this publication from us. Also important to note is that as an IEB school, we also do offer the AP subjects, and these are the advanced program mathematics and advanced program English. Both of these subjects are kind of like the equivalent of A-level courses overseas, and they do a lot of varsity work, and these get accreditation in an international context as well. So it's a benefit if your child is able to cope with these subjects outside of their normal load. And both of those are offered here at our school. Our candidates actually wrote AP English for the first time last year, but we've been writing AP Maths for a few years now. And that also helps with application overseas to have those subjects on record. We are not intimidated by the changing future and our evolving world, and we believe that here at Reddam House Umhlanga we provide our students with every opportunity so that they can develop their body and mind and step into the post-school world and really thrive. We look forward to welcoming your child along for the journey.